Good morning. Good morning. My name is Sheri Kling, and I'm going to lead us in a beginning hymn called Weave. So I'm going to teach you the chorus first, and then I'll be leading the singing, and you can join in, of course, but and you can join in on the verses as well once you get to know them. They're not hard. So let me just demonstrate how this chorus goes first. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together, together in love. Okay, let's all try that now. Ready? Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together, together in love. That was very good. You did very well. So let's start from the beginning with that chorus, and then we'll do the whole song. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together, together in love. We are many textures. We are many colors, each one different from the other. But we are entwined with one another in one great tapestry. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together, together in love. We are different instruments, playing our own melodies, each one tuning to a different key. But we are all playing in harmony, in one great symphony. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together, together in love. A moment ago, we did not know our unity, only diversity. Now the light in me greets the light in thee, in one great family. Weave, weave. and love. Weave us together, weave us together, together in love.
So greetings and welcome to all of you who are in here and those who are joining us virtually to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Sarasota and the Lakewood Ranch UUs. I'm Catherine Bonner. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at the church and also your worship associate today. During those Sundays when our regular minister is out of the pulpit, our worship team works with guest speakers to provide invigorating and sometimes out of the norm worship experiences. And today's service will be no exception. I especially want to welcome those of you who are visiting us today. Outside our sanctuary doors, we have our Welcome Center, where you can talk to one of our ambassadors about our faith and about our church, or pick up pamphlets on who we are, or sign up to get our newsletter, The Contact, which is full of information on what is happening in our very vibrant church. Or we encourage you to visit our website at www.uucsarasota.com. There on the website, you will find information on our faith, our church, and also you can sign up for the newsletter. I invite all of you here on campus to join us directly after the service in our courtyard to share a cup of coffee or juice, a little goodie to eat, and most importantly, friendship with old friends or even new ones to you. And for those of you who are joining us virtually, there's several opportunities throughout the week to join in via Zoom for fellowship groups. Check out our website and our newsletter for those virtual gatherings. We encourage everyone to use our donate button on our website to contribute as you can so that we can continue the life of our church. And we have a very vibrant church, and there's a lot of things that are going on. Today, we have an Arts Council opening, so I hope that you will go in and enjoy the new art that is up. There are also two special events coming up that I want to make sure that you're aware of so that you can get them on your calendar. On Saturday, October the 29th from 9 to noon, we're holding a new to Unitarian Universalism and our church, workshop for those who are new to our faith or our church, so come and learn and get to know others. Lunch is provided. So that we have an idea of how much food to order, we'd love for you to stop by the welcome table and just outside the sanctuary doors and sign up and get more information. The following day, on Sunday, October 30th, we'll be holding our Halloween party for all ages. That includes you. In the courtyard and in the West Wing after the service. Our youth group is planning the activities, and several of them require intergenerational teams to complete the activity. We hope that you will bring your party spirit and join in. Wearing a witch's hat or a pirate vest or any other non-gruesome costume is allowed for any age. It's all about making fun memories. So now on to the good part. As your worship associate, I am delighted to introduce to you Sheri D. Kling, PhD. Sheri is an author, speaker, singer, and spiritual mentor who draws from wisdom and mystical traditions, relational worldviews, and depth psychology and the intersection of spirituality and science to help people find meaning, belonging, and transformation. She regularly delivers dynamic music and message presentations to groups and offers courses, concerts, and spiritual retreats. Dr. Kling is a director of Process and Faith, a program at the Center for Process Studies at Claremont School of Theology, and a faculty member of the Hayden Institute. She sees her mission as midwifing wholeness in individuals, organizations, communities, and culture through soul, story, and song. Her work can be found online at www.sherikling.com. So thank you and welcome, Sheri.
So it's so wonderful to be here with you all this morning. The last time I was in this building was many years ago. I was actually speaking to the Young Society here in Sarasota that I think still meets here when they meet in person. I'm not sure if they've been meeting in person lately. But I was living at that time in the Atlanta area and wrote this song then. It's called Working with Beauty, and it's drawing from my own experience when at the time I was in the software industry and working in marketing and corporate communications, and just didn't feel like I was able to bring my whole self to my work. And it just became more and more important to me that I be able to do that. And so I then started on this long journey of being a performing singer-songwriter. Then I went back to graduate school and so on and so forth. So this song is called Working with Beauty, and it's about that quest to bring our whole selves to our work. And I use two examples, one of a businesswoman and then of a man who's a doctor. And so this is called Working with Beauty. Margarita wants to take her shoes off. She's been up and down these stairs about 20,000 times. She can't afford to wait for elevators, 'cause it's 5 o'clock and there's still a week's worth of work to do. Patients lining up to see the doctor. He's been taking care of them for 37 years. There used to be more time for conversation, but in the brave new world of modern medicine, there's just no way. Hey, hey. Is this any way to make a life or just a living? Can we really reach the top by serving just the bottom line? If we could bring our hearts and souls to the work we do, wouldn't we be working with beauty? Oh. College students trying to pick a major, limiting their options based on starting salaries. Everybody wants to grab the brass ring, overlooking gold that's buried deep within their human hearts. Is this any way to make a life or just a living? Can we really reach the top by serving just the bottom line? If we could bring our hearts and souls to the work we do, wouldn't we be working with beauty? Is this any way to make a life or just a living? Can we really reach the top by serving just the bottom line? If we could bring our hearts and souls to the work we do, wouldn't we be working with beauty? Oh.
Now, as I light the chalice, Let us say our chalice lighting words, which I believe will be shown on the screen here. As we light this chalice, we affirm our seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Today's story is The Whole World Inside Nan's Soup by Hunter Legore and illustrated by Vicky Zhang. Seeds, said Nani when I asked her what was inside the big metal pot she was stirring on the stove. It was the same one handed down from her Nani. It smelled so good, I couldn't wait to taste it. Seeds, I asked? How can seeds be inside the pot? Well, gardeners, with their gentle hands, planted the seeds that grew up to be vegetables and ended up inside the pot. Nani winked. Soil and rain are also in the pot. Soil and rain, Nani? Yes, see them here. Nani nodded, stirring. In order for the seeds to grow, they would need to be placed in the soil by the gardeners with their gentle hands, and then watered by the rain before they grew up to be vegetables and into the pot for soup. I stood on my tiptoes to see into the pot. We also have the sun, the moon, and the stars inside the pot. The sun, the moon, and the stars, Nani, I asked? How could that possibly be in the pot? Without the sun, the moon, and the stars, the seeds that are planted in the soil by the gardeners with their gentle hands and then watered by the rain wouldn't grow. So they too are in the pot. Nani put her ear to the pot. Listen, do you hear that? It sounds like a honeybee, I said, listening. That's right. The bees pollinate the flowers that grew up to be vegetables planted by the gardeners with their gentle hands. So they too are in the pot. Can I see what else is in the pot, Nani? Oh, yes, there is plenty more. Nani's eyes widened as she stirred the soup. Like the farm workers who pick the vegetables with care, they're smiling as they watch over the fields under the warm sun. They make footprints in the rich soil, carrying boxes full of vegetables to the delivery trucks, the boats, and trains. And then what, Nani? There are delivery drivers eager to take the vegetables from the farm to the market. Nani smiled. I also see the merchants who greet the trucks, the boats, and the trains. They work in teams to bring the baskets of farm vegetables to the market. People gather curiously to see what they have brought. Well, I guess that's everything, Nani, I said. Nani looked again. Nope, I see a bus. A bus? How can a bus be inside the pot? Not just a bus, but also the bus driver and all the people who joined me on the way to the market and home again. Nani, are there roads in the pot? You bet there are. Nani's eyes grew bigger. Roads and highways, plus traffic lights, bridges, and waterways, and all the neighborhoods we passed on the way to the market. And don't forget the electricity that keeps the lights on and the town running. Wow, Nani, I can't believe that all of that is inside the pot. Is there anything else? And Nani thought some more, smiling bigger than before. What, Nani? What else do you see in the pot? Love. I see love in this pot. Love inside the pot, Nani? That's right. The love of my own Nani, who taught the recipe to my mother, who then brought it to me. One special recipe passed down from generation to generation, beginning with the first Nani, just so I can make soup and share it with you. Will you teach me the recipe, Nani? Nani said, you'll have to remember everything that's inside the pot. But I already do, I said. Nani looked at me. What's inside the pot? The whole world. So much of our life and the world around us is connected, and yet we take that for granted and no longer see it or even really think about it. And when we do, it's generally in times of disasters when we no longer have the things that we used to. For example, Hurricane Ian impacted so many, but did you know that it also wiped out 1 in every 7 commercial beehives in the United States? Their loss will be felt next year with lower crop yields due to lower pollination. But for today, we have vegetables that our elementary class will be cooking into a large soup to share with you in the courtyard after the service, as we all contemplate our interconnectedness. So younger UUs, this is typically when you leave, but don't go. I want you to stay for the next song before you leave to go join your teachers in your classrooms.
So who in this building likes to swim? Okay, well, we're doing a song now called Swimming to the Other Side. It's all about the movement of life and how we're all doing this together. And so those of you who are interested in maybe making some movements, when we say swimming to the other side, if you want to do some swimming movements, you could do that. If you wanted, you could do actually any movement you want to do as far as I'm concerned. But I'm going to teach you this song. Now I'll teach you the chorus first. It begins with a verse, but I will teach you the chorus. And actually, the verses and the chorus really have the same melody. So once you know the chorus, you can sing all the verses too. So it begins with, if you could advance, yeah, there you go. We're all living 'neath the great Big Dipper. I'll do the same. I'll demonstrate it once, and then we'll sing it as a group, and then I'll begin the song. We're all living 'neath the great Big Dipper. We're all washed by the very same rain. We're all swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. So that's not too hard, right? It's very repetitive. It's the same in every verse and every chorus. So let's try it together, and then we'll begin the song. We're all living 'neath the great Big Dipper. We're all washed by the very same rain. We're all swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. All right, very good. Now back to the first verse. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to see the sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection be my crime. In humility I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We're all living 'neath the great Big Dipper. We're all washed by the very same rain. We're all swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Very good. You learn very quickly. On this journey through my thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who've come before me band together to be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We're all living neath the great big dipper. We're all washed by the very same rain. We're all swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed that they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. We're all living neath the great big dipper. We're all washed by the very same rain. We're all swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Thank you. You did very well.
So as our younger UUs leave to join their teachers in their classrooms, let us contemplate these words as we center ourselves in this space of peace and love. They're all confused because normally I go with them, but I'm not going today. They're looking around like, what? What? So after these words, we'll have a short time of contemplation and silence followed by Spirit of Life. From Joan Boroshenko. A mystic sees beyond the illusion of separateness into the intricate web of life, in which all things are an expression of a single whole. You can call this web God, the Tao, the Great Spirit, the infinite mystery, Mother, or Father, but it can also be known simply as love.
have to switch glasses again. Okay. Well, good morning again, and I'm just so grateful that Catherine and the rest of the planning team invited me to be with you here this morning. As she told you, my name is Sheri Kling, and I consider myself a constructive theologian, focusing on wholeness and transformation. Now, I claim the Christian tradition still as my home base, but I have spent most of my life as a curious and respectful wanderer in my search for truth. Some of you may relate to that. Now, before I get to the meat of my comments on the web of life, I want to give you a bit of background to set the context for my topic today and explain maybe why a theologian who still considers Christianity my home base is standing before you in a UU congregation. And I'm come here, by the way, with absolutely no doctrinal agenda of any kind, which I know you will be glad to hear. So the broad interest of my work, I would say, is common flourishing, where all humans and non-human animals and the entire planet thrives and can experience enjoyment or zest. I have a specific focus on human psycho-spiritual wholeness and transformation with the hope that we might, as Joseph Campbell said, experience the rapture of being alive. And I believe that we can best experience that rapture through deep relationship with each other and with the planet. And when we can approach everything in our lives with a sense of awe, wonder, and appreciation, I think that also contributes to common flourishing. So the resources that I use in my work are philosophy, theology, religion, psychology, spirituality. I'm just naturally an interdisciplinary thinker, and in Myers-Briggs language, I'm an intuitive feeler, and I see the big picture, and I make connections between things and then try to envision possibilities and solutions for what I think keeps us from common flourishing. So as a cultural and observer and commentator, I look at the environment of US culture and I see a huge problem of fragmentation, societal, interpersonal, and even intrapersonal. And so I ask, what are helpful ideas and practices for integration? Well, two thinkers that I have leaned most heavily on are mathematician, philosopher Alfred North Whitehead and psychologist Carl Jung, because I find that they still offer life-giving anti-fragmentation resources. Now, through their work, they suggest that at both the level of the cosmos and the level of the human psyche, reality is characterized by value, relationality, and creative transformation. They give us a set of integrating ideas about the world we live in and which we live from. But better ideas don't necessarily change human behavior. Behavior changes when we have an experience that changes us and shows us a new way of living in the world. So my plan for the next few minutes is to share some ideas on the web of life that promote ecological and human flourishing, and then I want to suggest ways that you can experience what I'm talking about for yourself. Does that sound good? Okay. So I'd like to begin with a story. Back in the mid-90s, I took a trip. I had won some plane tickets in a raffle, and I was not in a relationship with anyone. I wasn't married. I'm still not married. But anyway, I was wanting to go on a trip, and I wanted to go on a real vacation that didn't involve staying at friends' homes. So I booked got the plane ticket, booked a trip to the Southwest from Atlanta, flew to Albuquerque, rented a car by myself, and drove about 1,000 miles over the course of 10 days, seeing amazing places in that part of the world. And when I got to Canyon de Chelly, which is in Arizona, and that picture is from Canyon de Chelly, I did a tour, a half-day tour of the canyon, and which are sometimes referred to as shake and bake tours, because you're sitting in the sun and you're shaking on the truck as it's going along the floor of the canyon. And it was amazing. It was in June, so the wash had come through the canyon, and greenery was in full growth again. Cottonwood trees were in full green, and the native peoples who can live in the canyon in the summer had moved back in, and we saw the pictograms on the rocks and the cliff dwellings, and it was just amazing. And I then, after the tour, decided to go up to the overlook, the first overlook, and look at the canyon from above to get a different perspective. So I drove to the first overlook and parked my car. There were no other cars in that parking area, so I was by myself. And I walked out to the edge of the canyon and sat, and from that viewpoint, the people and the trucks at the floor of the canyon were about the size of ants. And so as I sat there and looked at this whole amazing place, all of a sudden my consciousness shifted, and I experienced myself as being both an infinitesimally small speck of dust in the universe, but intimately connected to everything. And I felt that all the way through my bones. Well, then, of course, that consciousness shifted, and I was back in the normal experience. And I think I've spent my life since then trying to integrate that experience. But the two insights that I gained from that are that we are all small specks of dust. We might even say the earth itself is a speck of dust in the entire cosmos. And as that speck of dust, I'm an individual who occupies a humble place in the whole. But I'm connected to everything, and so are you. We are in a relational world that I am an intimate part of, and that you are an intimate part of. Now, I would call this kind of experience ecstatic, unitive, or mystical, because it showed me the greater wholeness of the world. Now, theology is often described as faith-seeking understanding. So we might think of both theology and philosophy as those disciplines that help us put words around our experience. So I was thrilled to discover a system of thought that describes a world in which everything is connected while the individual still has meaning and value. And that system is the philosophy of Alfred North Whitehead. Now, he called it a philosophy of organism, which was an alternative to the dominant philosophies of mechanism. Rather than seeing the world and everything in it as machines, Whitehead came to see the world and everything in it as organisms. His work has come to be known as process philosophy or process relational thought. Now, Whitehead's philosophy is experiencing a kind of resurgence in the ecological movement, and it's the aspects of his philosophy that are ecologically friendly and support the idea of a web of life that I'm going to focus on today. So I want to talk primarily about 4 key ideas from Whitehead about the web of life. Those ideas are that 1, the world is always in the process of becoming. 2nd, that nature is alive. 3rd, that everything is relationally interconnected. And 4th, that the world is non-dual. So first, the world is always in the process of becoming. So for Whitehead, the smallest building blocks of the actual world are events, drops of experience, moments and relationships, and not things that stay the same through time and are only pushed around like billiard balls by external forces. Everything in his thinking is always in a dynamic process of becoming. And order and change or novelty are in constant dialectical dancing. So we live in a dynamic world of continuous process. And this lines up with what I think we've learned from quantum mechanics since the early 20th century. So the second point is that nature is alive. For Whitehead, the world is not just a collection of objects, but is an interrelated web of subjects. Rocks, trees, rivers, amoebas, and eagles are not just objective facts in the world. They are subjective centers of experience and events of self-realization. So for Whitehead, value and experience go all the way down. Now, Whitehead would not have said that consciousness goes all the way down, but that there's some degree of experience in everything, some kind of interiority, we might say. So, therefore, the natural world has value in itself. It is intrinsically valuable and not just instrumentally valuable for what it offers humans in the form of resources. The natural world means something for its own sake. Injustice, therefore, lies in denying the value of other lives and other subjects, and it harms all involved. Third, everything is relationally interconnected. Now, I recently listened to a really great webinar by a man named Philip Shepard, who teaches about embodiment and what he calls the embodied present. And he says that the idea of independence is a myth. We can't find one example in all of the cosmos of independence. Everything depends on the whole for its existence. And he said that to chase after the fantasy of independence is to pursue something that isn't real. Now, Whitehead would heartily agree with that. For him, the whole cosmos is a seamless web of interconnected events, none of which can be completely isolated from the others. Everything in the world is connected to everything else and is contained in everything else. Moments arise as subjects from a past world of objective fact, actualize something concrete, and then become data for the next moment as it arises. Each moment is always in relationship with the entire world. Nothing exists in isolation. As Buddhists say, the universe is a network of interbeing and codependent arising. And the relationships between the various aspects of experience come to us as aesthetic patterns with feeling. So for Whitehead, we feel the world and are internally formed by our relationships with others. We couldn't be without the others that have formed us in our life. And while it's true that everything is interconnected and nothing exists independently by itself, we can still value the individual, because it is only through the individual expression of life that value is achieved in the world. Individual agency, freedom, and choice of what aim, what possibility to make real in the world is how value and beauty are made manifest. So I want to illustrate this idea of relatedness through a song that I wrote called "We All Are Related." And I wrote it while I was in a class at Claremont School of Theology on eco-process philosophy and theology. And it was like we were reading a combination of process thinkers and eco-feminist thinkers. So people like Whitehead and Teilhard de Chardin and Sally McFaig and other really great people like that. And so by the midterm, our assignment was to do a creative project. And so I decided to write a song. Of course, I had to write a paper about the song too. But this song, my classmates said it pretty much summed up the entire semester to that point. Now, I intended this to be a hymn that could be sung in congregations, and I imagined this first part that I'm going to sing, I imagined this as a choral chant, so you'll have to sort of use your imagination and imagine a choir singing this beginning part. And this chant tells the scientific story of our universe. And then the verses go from there. Now this is a hymn that does use God language. Again, I have no agenda about that. I just throw this out there as something for you to listen to and to articulate some of these ideas of relatedness and interconnection. And so this is called We All Are Related. Fiery brilliance, cooling gas, condensing gravity, atoms forming stars and carbon fuel diversity, Earth with sky and oceans, molecules then multiply. Stardust is the mater of the cosmos and all life. We all are related, woven as threads in Earth's tapestry. A kinship creation depending on all in deep harmony. Internally formed by each other, creative and free, we all are related, wholly and actively. The world is becoming, the future of God is luring us there. Grace within chaos, the power of the new, holiness bear. The singer is singing the song we are yearning to share. The world is becoming, processes everywhere. And God is embodied, Word become flesh in all that we see. Deeply incarnate in every bird, in every tree. In the heartbeat of billions of bodies just wanting to be, God is embodied, soul of the world, breathing in me. And all things have value, all the way up and all the way down. God is redeeming the lowliest stone and the glorious crown. Love is the pattern in every atom around. All things have value, whispering spirit sound. We need liberation from seeing our world as dead matter machines. All creatures as neighbors, a healing embrace, so held we are free. In training our rhythms to the heartbeat of life, consciously we all are related. In a world that's becoming, where God is embodied, and all things have value, we are liberated, affirming the world we see. Thank you. So now on to the fourth key idea that talks about the web of life, that the world is non-dual. So for Whitehead, every moment as it arises, every moment has both a mental and a physical pole. The world for him is dipolar, but these poles can't be separated. They're like the poles of a magnet or a battery. There's no clear, and so for him, there's also no clear line of separation between thinking and feeling. So human experience, he thought, begins with both conscious and unconscious receiving of the events of the world and being causally affected or influenced by what we receive, by what each moment receives. So this internalization of the world occurs for humans through the mediation of the body. So Whitehead said the body lies in the field of nature, and believed that we can't draw a clear distinction between us and the natural world, or between our minds and our bodies. We're always receiving the moods and feelings of other people and animals. As Philip Shepard, who I mentioned earlier, says, embodiment is not about listening to the body, but listening to the world through the body. So we have a unity of mind and body, body and nature, thinking and feeling. There's no conflict for Whitehead between religion and science. Both, he thought, are human activities that evolve over time, or should, and that are attuned to the depths of reality. As J. McDaniel writes, science focuses on forms of energy which are subject to replicable experiments and which can be rendered into mathematical terms. Religion begins with awe at the beauty of the universe, awakens to the interconnections of things, and helps people discover the metaphysical norms that are part of the very makeup of the universe itself. So what does all this mean? Well, in a process worldview, as J. McDaniel says, our human calling is to enjoy life as best we can and to help build communities that are creative, compassionate, participatory, multicultural, humane to animals, and good for the earth, with no one left behind. And he goes on to say, as we seek to fulfill this vocation, we're beckoned by the ideal of beauty, harmony, and intensity of experience. Sensitivity, he says, to beauty includes awe and wonder, zest for life, love, and meaning-making. Now, my final point is to talk about, as I said, how you might experience for yourself this interconnected and dynamic web of life. Well, first of all, I think it helps to know that there's an intrinsic part of your psyche that draws you toward wholeness. Jung called this the archetypal self, and he understood it as a pattern of wholeness in the psyche that draws every person toward individuation, which is a process of integrating all aspects of our psyche so that we can offer our unique gifts and genius to the world and be in real relationship with the world. He thought that it's only through this process of becoming our own being in the world that we can actually enter into real relationship, because there's a real person there. Second of all, you can begin to see all life around you as kin, as part of that kinship creation I mentioned in my song. Now, one of my own daily practices is to greet as many living creatures in my local environment as I can. I say hello to the Muscovy ducks that live in my apartment complex. I try to rescue the anole lizards that get stuck in the house. I say hello to the birds and squirrels. This morning I was greeting a barred owl while it was still dark. And I will occasionally help small raccoons to get out of the dumpsters. Yesterday I rescued 7, 3 in one dumpster, 4 in another. This morning it was 8, 4 in one dumpster and 4 in another. I get a big stick, I put it in the corner, they look at me like, and then they climb out, and there we are. They're my friends. Now, to have what I call embodied experiences of wholeness and experience the unity of mind and body and world for yourself, I recommend a spiritual practice of dream work. When I work with my dreams and see them as a means of sacred communication that is coming from the unity that transcends my personal life, I can see evidence in my own life of that lure toward wholeness. I can begin then to live in the flow of life in a way that allows me to see the wisdom and guidance that's available to me in every moment if I'm willing to get quiet enough to hear it. Now, these kinds of practices, I believe, and along with many others, allow me to see that the world is always in the process of becoming. Nature is alive. Everything is relationally interconnected. And the world is non-dual and a unity despite all appearances to the contrary. And then I can know that while I'm an infinitesimally small speck of dust in the universe, I am also connected to the entire web of life. Thank you.
Sheri, we're doing the offertory now. Oh, yes. Okay, that's right now. Don't go away. It's now time for our offering. Please be as generous as you can. For those of you who are online or those of you who are here with a cell phone, there is a link to donate in the description of your YouTube video or on our website right under the description of today's service. So let this sacred time begin.
This is a song called I Am Human, and I wrote it thinking about of all of this fragmentation that I talk about and am worried about, and what is a way that we can come to a shared sense of unity, of togetherness. So I wrote this song called I Am Human. I am human, I belong to heaven and earth. That is my highest identity. I've been formed through people, places, and time, and the spirit of life in all entities. I am human, I am human. You are human, we are human. I have faith, a tradition that I embrace, but religion is only a part of me. It's a window through which I witness the light. It's a way to expand my humanity. I am human, I am human. You are human, we are human. I was born in a land I call home, but a nation is just a geography, and these borders do not define who I am. All the earth needs my love and my loyalty. I am human, I am human. You are human, we are human. We have bodies that shine a rainbow of life, a glorious span of diversity, but deep within us beat the same human hearts, yearning for love and community. We are human, we are human, we are human, we are human. We are lifted by recognizing our bonds, reaching out with a wide hospitality. Every thread is held and strengthened by more, interweaving our heavenly tapestry. We are human, 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 we are human.
Thank you, Sheri. So now I invite you, as you are able, to rise and let us sing our closing hymn, number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Stay standing. We now close our worship service, but not our minds or our hearts, as we extinguish this chalice with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we keep in our heart until we are together again. May it be so.